We're doing school days with you, man. The infamous anime, the anime that you either it's like Marmite. You know Marmite in the UK. You love it or you hate it.
I don't like Marmite, but I like this anime. And I think we can all agree on one thing. Whether you love it or hate it, you got to see it. It definitely starts a debate.
I don't believe that's true.
So this is based off what they like to call it an adult visual novel, but we like to call it a hentai game. Let's keep it real. Your typical hentai game. You got this guy, and he's basically gonna try to get all the girls. So they've taken this idea and they've made it into an anime. And they've done this isn't the first time. If you've seen Canon or even Clannad or some other anime, they do a lot of animes now are based off hentai games, even if they don't contain hentai. But this one is different, isn't it, folks?
Different. It's like, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm hearing. But anyway, let's go through the basic plot line. This is your kind of typical love triangle kind of anime. It revolves around three main characters. You got Makoto, Senkai, and Konohana or Kotonoha.
I think it's Kotonoha. I think it is, but...
Alright, let's go with Kotonoha. Makoto has been watching Kotonoha for a while. Watching on the train on his little camera phone, as you can see in episode 1.
As you do.
She's a cute girl, and he's obviously got a crush on her,
As you do.
In comes Senkai, a fellow classmate of Makoto. She notices that he's got feelings for this girl and decides, you know what? I'm going to play matchmaker and I'm going to get them together,
So realistic.
Yeah, because you get girls like in school. When I liked a girl, there was another girl helping me get a girl, right?
Right?
I'm feeling hot right now.
Oh, yeah?
Not for the right Not for the right.
Whoa, you were getting some different feelings of this anime. At this point,
there is heat.
I was getting confused anyway. Anyway, Senkai, playing the fellow Good Samaritan, in episode 1, she succeeds. She gets them together, So by episode 1, you're probably thinking, hey, anime could end right here. But it's kind of obvious that she has feelings for Makoto. And she even goes, even at the end of episode 1, she goes as far as to kiss him. You can, so obvious, it's inevitable, it's a love triangle anime. And that's the basic plot. So before we get into, because most of this anime is going to be about the storyline, but let's just cover the little other bases, like animation,
There was nothing really wrong with the animation. It was average, I guess. I wouldn't say that it was anything spectacular. They didn't really try anything new. They kept it pretty simple. The only time that the animation sparked or it really went to a different level was at the end.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but I don't even think it went so far out of its range.
It didn't go far out of its range, but it was different enough for you to notice. Because 1 minute it is standard, and the next minute it is above average. It was just different.
Basically, for me, I didn't actually like the way that the characters were drawn, especially the main character, because I felt that his face was very baby-like, but there was points where you saw the rest of his body, and it was kind of heavy.
It was smoothly drawn, but the animation was very cookie cutter. The characters looked very cute, and like GA said, near the end, I did feel like they upgraded it a bit, because near the end, they're not always in their school uniform, and they dress more outly, so,
Yeah, they really, really didn't go out of their box, everything was the same. The characters were generic as can be, as in same nonchalant main character, nothing special about him, same big-breasted main character woman, same freaking... The way that they was drawn is just to the standard. There was nothing different about it at all. All of the characters was so generic.
I was bored with it, and I still don't agree with what you're saying about the change at the end, because mostly when you're watching a high school anime, when they are out of their uniform, they do tend to make them look different, to make them look older, especially if circumstances have changed slightly. So, to me, it was just generic.
Okay. With the sound, I found absolutely nothing worth mentioning. I mean, yeah, the opening song, Innocent Blue by a group called Cool Devices, it was the only thing for me. That and Makoto's voice. The voice actor that played Makoto, the Japanese voice actor, because there's no English dub for this yet, he was an interesting pick. He sounded very mousy, so that's the only thing that stood out for me. But other than that, the sound is not worth mentioning.
I kind of agree with that. I didn't really... I'm sorry, I don't think it was very memorable for me. The voice acting was okay. Once again, I find it slightly generic. His voice, I do agree, was childlike, but really nothing to really write home about for me personally.
Yeah, the voice acting wasn't one of its strong points. It was just pretty generic, The main character had a little I don't care kind of voice. His voice was so mellow, like, whatever happens. His whole character, I guess, was like that. But yeah. Then there's the girls that they didn't, like I said before, they really didn't try anything new when it came down to those characters, especially. They're when it comes down to the animation and the voice acting, there was nothing new tried there at all.
Well, another trivia point that I want to make in regards to the hentai game, which it came from. The thing that makes School Days and all the other spin-offs of it very popular is the scenes are animated. They're not, the usual character slides in static animation pictures for the hentai game. So when you play the hentai game, the animation's the exact same animation as this anime. You can watch the alternate endings in the game because they're animated exactly the same as the anime.
Yeah, which I would say we did.
Yeah, we did. We watched and did you notice any difference in the animation there?
When I, eventually finished watching the anime and I went over to watch
the cutscenes,
the endings and whatnot, and they was amazingly exactly like the anime, which was really impressive.
Yeah,
making it quite interesting. I wouldn't have mind probably seeing how the game, after the amount of time or after watching it, it wasn't one of the things that was on my mind.
All right, well, now, folks, we're going to go back into the storyline, and this time we're going to disassemble it, because this is where all three of us, going in our own different directions about our opinions. So all I want to state is that we have to spoil it. We have to spoil the anime. We're going to talk about the ending. We're going to talk about the characters' motivations, everything like that. So people, if you haven't seen this anime, I don't know if we should just give you our ratings now, because did we all agree it was watchable?
I would say it's definitely watchable for me. Is it more than that? It's something that maybe it still needs time to decide, because after first watching it, it hits you differently.
All right, we're going to go into it anyway, but what I would say, you know what, I'll give the people who don't want it to be ruined, I'll give you my final verdict now for the anime, and for me, it's an acquired taste. The reason why I'm not going to give it a watchable is because usually, if I say watchable, anyone can watch it. This anime is not for anyone and everyone. Most people I would give it to as a one-off, but you're not going to watch this more than once either. You'll never get me watching this anime again, whether I liked it or not. It's just one of those animes, I don't need to watch it again, so that's my verdict on it. GA?
It's watchable because of the simple fact that, for me, it's one of those things that whoever watches it, they're going to have a lot to say about it. Whether they've got lots of good stuff to say or lots of bad stuff, whether they think it's totally unbelievable or they think it has some kind of realism to it. I think it's something that it's going to start a debate. So yeah, that's why I think it's definitely watchable.
I actually think that it's definitely an acquired taste because I don't think that it was a necessary watch for me. Yes, does it evoke some kind of emotion? Yeah, it does. It evokes an emotion of anger and stupidity for me. And as a female, I can't see any other female that is going to really want to actually debate or talk about this. They're probably going to want to switch off, and if they actually bought it, probably throw it out the window at some point, or throw it at the next man they see that tries to hit on them in some stupid ass way. You know what? I don't even know why I said I'm not feeling it, actually. I'm not feeling it. I take that back. I'm not feeling it. Personally, for me, it was unnecessary. So,
Okay.
like I said, it does make you want to debate it, but to me, it's a debate that I could do without, really.
All right. Well, that's our opinions, and we're about to just go into the storyline in severe detail. So you're going to hear our opinions on this, and we're going to start with Nuance again. Why not? Because you said all this stuff about you're not feeling this no more, and I want to hear your reasonings. So let's start again with the storyline, and this girl Senkai is trying to help her friend Makoto out.
Friend.
To get with the girl who I can't remember her name right now. So where did it all go wrong for you, Nuance? What's your beef with this? I mean,
I think it went wrong when you said friend. There are no friends in the anime. And actually, when you're talking about her trying to help out her friend, she wasn't actually trying to help out anybody, because the fact of the matter is she didn't even know.
Kotohona. Uh-huh.
Right, she didn't even know the Kotohona before. Yeah, she was basically using that whole situation to get with a guy because she was too flipping weak to say that she liked him in the first place. The thing that frustrates me about the anime, there's so much that frustrates me. It's very hard for me to break it down.
Just bring up the points you really detested. The points that you stick out in your mind.
The points that I really detested was the fact that it seemed to be a girl fight, right? Number one, I really couldn't take the fact that the girls were either ridiculously weak, or one girl was stupidly manipulative. Yeah? And the other thing that I really couldn't understand is when I looked at this guy, there was nothing that made me feel like he was attractive, that all these girls fall for him. Now, I was thinking, does he have a golden chalice in his pants or something? Is there a vibe he is letting off to allow these women to fall at his frigging knees? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think the anime, it plays on the whole stereotype is, as when you watch the anime, it seems that he progressively becomes more of an arsehole. And as he becomes progressively more of an arsehole, he progressively gets more ladies. So doesn't that bring the whole thing of, the bad guys always get the kills?
But this guy didn't even talk. No. He had no lyrics. So you can't even bring that.
Yeah, but
he didn't
girls
have
talk, don't
any
they?
lyrics.
Why does
He had no lyrics.
Yeah, but he didn't need lyrics because his actions spoke louder than his words.
But
obviously.
what did he have? It was the girls. He had no actions. Either.
Everybody else in the school saw him as some massive player. So all of his actions was pointing to that.
Nobody saw him as a player until he started messing around with the two girls. And the other foolish, dumb, idiot, ridiculous, stupid girls in the school decided, like the three girls,
Trio.
the trio decided, oh, he must have something in his pants. Mm-hmm. He must be good at something. And, if we get into that whole scenario, we're going to be having a totally discussion. So let's leave that for another Tyro-based discussion.
All I can say is that, first of all, the most important thing is that the time that they're trying to say that this happened. All right, they're trying to say that these children, this is what makes it hard. They're trying to say that they're in the ages between 16 and 17. Okay? And when you're that age, all right, which is obviously
he's gonna
hard
do it.
for some people.
He's going to do it.
To remember it, yeah.
Let him
God.
talk.
Go and talk, sorry.
When you're that age, you are trying to, you're exploring. Or these kind of girls and whatnot, they finally come up on the radar. You know, unlike which for some people they didn't beforehand. But at that age, they do. And, you know, trying to explore them sides are things that you're interested in. And then they're just trying to put in a scenario that if you was one of these magical lucky dudes that this happened to you, how it would play out. And to say that it has no realism to it, to me, is just not true.
You know what? Thanks for that, Dr. GA. Yeah? You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah? Save that for your other therapy lessons, yeah? We are talking about a guy. Let me break it down. Usually, I'm not saying that girls do not fall for guys, yeah, that are bad for them, or, you know what I mean, that girls are not attracted to guys that are already dating another girl, because we know the saying. Do you know what I mean? You know, when a woman, you know, a guy will meet a woman, their friend's best friend's girlfriend, if I've made that even more complicated, and they might turn around to the guy and say, "Oh, I really like your girl. Hopefully I'll get one like that." You know, a girl like that. And a girl, if it's vice versa, a girl might turn around and say, "I really like your boyfriend. I want him." And that has happened. You know what I mean? Time and time again.
All right. So what you're saying is that...
Hold on. My issue is this. This guy had no lyrics. He had nothing. He had like a baby face and a tubby body. He was a weakling, yeah? And some of the girl, like the second girl that he slept with liked him from primary school. So you're talking about some foundational likeage. Do you know what I mean? You're not talking about she just saw the guy, she thought, "Oh, this guy's hot."
So what are you saying, that she's the only character you think is believable to like him, but the rest you think it doesn't make any sense?
All right.
At the end of the day, the girl that actually did like... The worst thing about this anime is the fact that it's so degrading to me for women. I know this... I'm not saying this doesn't happen, but do we really need to see it? Do I need to watch these girls doing this? Do I need to watch this guy? And there's some conversations he had with the other girls, and they're like, "Oh, I really like you. Oh, don't you like me?" And he wouldn't answer. In his brain, he'd be like, "Oh, she's so cute. She looks so cute in that skirt." He just wants to bang her, and either she's having a conversation with herself, or I don't know what. And next thing you know, pants are off, and he's on it.
You know what? This is my look. All right. So what you're saying here is that if he was attractive, it would be believable.
I'm saying that at least if he was attractive and he had some lyrics that I could at least laugh and go, "Ha ha ha, these girls are fools," yeah. But at least he's got lyrics, something. You know what I mean? Unless he's got a orangutan in his pants, something. Yeah.
Was that your biggest gripe of the anime?
I think
no, that is not my biggest gripe of the anime.
That's most reviews I've seen and most comments I've heard about it is that the guy has nothing. Now, to me, yes, this is true. All right, it's the most unbelievable point about it, that he's not attractive or whatnot, but that is just because it's an anime. That's the main thing that's unbelievable. So if you put that aside, that's why I think it could happen. If this guy was an attractive person, if it wasn't an anime and you say that it was on TV and they made it into a freaking Mr. freaking Fantastic with his six-pack and his award-winning smile and fucking dunking on people's faces like it was, what's it called, One Tree Hill, everybody would believe it. But because it's just this nonchalant dude, which they always do in anime, because they think that that's what the audience can, what's it called?
Identify with what?
Exactly. That's what
once again, Dr. GA, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It is a freaking anime, and we have seen main characters that are attractive. This guy was lard.
with every
Even
one
that
character
dumb
that you
ass-
could
even
mention
that
that's
dumb-
attractive,
Hold
I
on a
could
minute.
mention probably 5 that isn't.
Even that dumb, stupid crap that I watched the other day, Shuffle, that guy was attractive. The other thing that I didn't like about the anime, which irritated me, if you're talking about character and character development, was the way that the main girl went on. I found it very unnecessary. I found her very, very manipulative. It was obvious from day one that she just wanted this guy. And I think it was cruel for her to do what she did. Do you see what I mean? Which was the fact that she made the guy get interested. The guy was actually interested in this one girl. He was interested in her, yeah. And because I will say, like GA said, because they are young or whatever, yeah, as soon as he got the girl and everybody was happy, she didn't even give the guy 1 minute, an hour, yeah, before she jumped in his lap. And as soon as she kissed him, they made out like to say his libido started running. Do you know what I mean? And now all of a sudden he's not interested in that girl because basically he knew he could get it with the other girl easier. You know what I mean? And that whole bullshit about let's practice, fondle my breast, let's practice. You know, let's go back to my room, let's practice. I mean, what kind of bullshit is that? Like literally, like her as a character, it was just ridiculously bad. She was just a really, really manipulative witch as a character.
And what? Those girls don't exist?
And you do feel sorry for, and the only person that you do feel sorry for is the girl that he actually liked. Because this guy, as soon as he got kissed by the other girl, he was thinking with his dick all the way through
exactly.
the anime, straight from that point. So, you know, and then obviously we get the fawning of the girls and blah, blah, blah.
Sorry to cut you, Nelson. Let me jump on something that GA keeps on going on about, which I want him to elaborate on. Makoto, his actions are kind of believable because he's a young guy, and, you know, at that age, guys, you know, they think with their nuts or their dicks or whatever, and he's not responsible, and you found that to be very believable.
My main thing with Makoto is that, to me, he kind of was a believable character. There was nothing special about him, very true. And the way they portrayed him is that, yeah, he had a girl that he liked, as you do at that age, but unfortunately, or fortunate for him, another girl showed him interest. And him not having the willpower that comes with age or dignity, he was a weak man, you know? And I see weak people like that every day. And that's...
Man or kid, because 1 minute he's a kid, now he's a man.
Well, once you get...
Because if you're saying he's a man, then
once you get a girl pregnant, you're a man. You ain't no freaking kid no more. Them kid days are over.
The thing that disturbed me was, like Nuance said, the way Senkai manipulated Makoto and Konohata's relationship for her own gain. Anyone naive enough to think she's a victim is a fucking idiot. But they do it in a way where she doesn't do it out of malice. And there is a point where she does try to she does have a confrontation with Konohata, which I like about the anime actually. I like the fact that they weren't just having a relationship behind the girl's back. They addressed it very early. They had a confrontation, but then this bitch still decided to carry on anyway behind her back.
Yeah, she was a
and
bitch.
To her face. But Makoto added even more fuel to the fire by not dumping her properly.
He was a coward.
He never dumped her. He never did. And you know what? In a way, the thing I don't like about what GA is saying is the fact that we watch a lot of anime, yeah, where they are in these high school eras, right? This is the time. And the guys seem to be more respectful. You cannot tell me that every guy, he's not like 12, you know, just having his first wank. He's flipping 16, 17 or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
And this is what I liked about it.
He should have been more, I feel, you can't tell me that every 16-year-old has such ridiculous, has no
this
control.
Is not everybody. This is what I'm saying. Like, out of the thousands of animes you've watched, all of the characters act the same. They're all freaking Mr. Nice Guys, Mr. Pure. They eventually, you know, see the wrong in what they did. And Makoto wasn't like that. He was a coward. He didn't care. He didn't do things. He did things in the most slimeballest way I've ever seen, and I could appreciate that. It was different.
Now, GA, I totally agree with you, yeah. And you know what? This is my thing with the anime, yeah. The bottom line is, it had a lot of potential to be a very good romance, drama, tragedy story, yeah. But the problem is, all the characters seem to make the stupidest decisions, every single one, except for Konotaha. So it ultimately has a very, the worst case scenario ending happens. I like the fact he wasn't good looking and that, he isn't the guy that would usually get all these girls. And yeah, when you look at the anime, School Days, you look at the picture, you're thinking, this guy fucking player. This guy fucks every girl in school. What? Is this the right anime? But it happened. It gets to a point where his character's not believable. Yeah, he's an arsehole. Yeah, he's weak. But he does some key things where it's just like the guy has absolutely no conscience. He doesn't break up with, he literally doesn't break up with the girl at all. And when he does, it's at the point where he literally had absolutely no other choice. He might as well had a gun. He might as well had a gun to his head, and someone said, "You better tell her it's over."
He did have a gun to it. He did have a gun to his head in the form of the little girl hanging onto his arm, saying, "We're together. You better tell this bitch that me and you are done."
All right, it might be hard for you guys to remember, but exactly how did your breakups happen when you was in secondary school?
What?
Like, what the hell are you on?
I'm just asking. It's an interesting question.
No. What's your point?
My point is, how did breakups happen in secondary school? When people broke up with each other, how did it happen? Did they meet together and say it's not working? Adults?
Okay, all right. I see your.
No, this is my point. Is like you guys expect them to act mature when they're trying to portray that they're 16, and when you was that age, the most likely time, the way that you normally find out you broke up with a girl is that you drift apart, or she tells her friend to tell you that you're not together anymore. It never happened face to face.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, that's a valid point. But this situation is slightly different because...
Well, because he's fucking them.
No, nothing to do with that. He didn't even have the audacity... He had the audacity to start dating somebody else and let the whole school know, that he's broken up with this girl except for her.
That's my point. That one thing.
And then
exactly.
wait until some little munchkin is pulling at his arm, forcing him to tell her, and even then he didn't want to do it. And he was pissed off with the little girl or whatever because as soon as she held onto her hand, he was like, "Get away." And
everything that you guys are saying is that he should man up, but when all I can remember in secondary school days, you never saw that. The only way anybody found out somebody was broke up with somebody is that if they was dating someone new, or if their friend told them, are you still with what's her name? Nah, bitch.
So his cowardice is not his level of cowardice and his uncompassion. To that level, is not something you found surprising.
I didn't find it surprising
all, on any level.
At all, I found it amusing. I found it shameful. I found it despicable. Surprising was not
okay.
One.
That is.
It's just
that's surprising to me.
I thought it was everything that you guys mentioned. All of that I agree with. I thought he was a coward. I thought he was despicable. I thought he was unbelievable at times. But the main thing is, the thing is that most people, once you get to a certain age, you try to just forget about how you was when you was younger. But when you're that age, you don't care how people look. If somebody came to school and they didn't have a shower, they didn't comb their hair, you'll be there laughing at them with their picky head all day long. If you had like a dry elbow, you wouldn't care. People would laugh at you all day long. But you seem to forget all of that as soon as you come out of secondary school. And then you think that everybody in secondary school was some responsible young adults, about to, yes, I'm sorry, darling, it's not working. And, I'm going to be a man. I'm going to tell you how it is. And, yeah, I'm dating, what's her name now? Yeah.
No. I'm not saying that in secondary school people weren't cruel. And I'm not saying that people weren't told they were dumped. Yeah, and all that kind of stuff. All I'm saying is this was an extremely yeah, and I don't know what secondary school you went to, yeah, but not all of them had such harsh ways of dumping people, and at least they dumped them, whereas this piece of crap didn't even dump no one. If he could have kept, and it shows at the end of the anime how despicable this guy is, that at the end he's going through his phone, anybody, somebody,
When it got to that point, yeah,
get laid.
the only thing that was going through my mind is that this guy's a dead man. It was that simple.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's good. But let's move on to the ending, because I think one way or another we've covered everything else. And let's talk about this quote shock ending. Let me start by saying, I guess someone kind of I think it's hard for you not to find this anime and for someone not to ruin the ending, because as soon as you hear the word tragedy, you probably think death anyway. So you kind of assume that someone's gonna die or whatever.
I don't even think you even need to see that. He was gonna die. It gets to a certain point that even if you knew nothing about this anime, the main thing that would be going through your mind is that this guy needs to die.
You know what? Watching it, it seemed natural. It didn't seem like a surprise ending. It just seemed like this is exactly what I think would happen, to be perfectly honest. I was like, yeah, because it went to an extreme and it ended on that extreme, and I was like, yeah, considering how this was escalating, yeah, this is exactly what happened. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised by the ending, and, people are surprised by this ending. I mean, a lot of things you'll hear is people, oh, this ending just made it. Oh, I wanted to punch the screen watching the anime, but the ending made it all worth it. And I'm thinking, no, not really. It's nice.
The ending was coming such a long time ago. For me, it was like, I think by episode 9 or something, somewhere around that region, I was like, the only way this anime could end is in a pool of blood. It kind of, because the guy was an arsehole, that's one thing everybody can agree on. He was a total arsehole. The things that he did was just harsh. And I think the main thing that everybody can also agree on is this is something you don't want to see. The ugliness of people. But I think most people, because they just so don't want to see it, they try to say, or they try to believe that it just doesn't happen. But I think that situation happens so often. It's just, I can remember so many people at that age that was just that much of a cunt when I was growing up. I can remember a lot of people that was that much of a cunt, asking you to break up with a girl for them or just fucking about.
I mean, as soon as when did I start my countdown? Probably, when she found out that he really did dump her, I just set my clock. And I was just waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm sorry to cut you, but the thing I think me and you are on the same page about this, the thing that surprised me about the ending was who ended up killing him.
And that's what I was just about to say. Because I really did expect, the love of his life to kill him. And I really do think she would have killed him if he hadn't turned up when he did. He would have been shanked in a way that he didn't even know was possible. She would have made him bleed for a long time.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I can agree on as well. The person that eventually took his life, I didn't see that coming. But to me, she was the
reason why I think we all don't see it coming is because it's like the most kind of predictable outcome. It's like, yeah, you have every reason to kill him, but this other girl has from the beginning, this girl really should have killed you. You know what I mean?
She had tenfolds.
And this is the reason why I think that, even though I understand what GA is saying, I think that his point of view in regards to school times in general is a little bit extreme, because if we can all say this guy deserves to die and get shanked and be happy about it, you can't really say that's natural. That's normal and natural in the real world.
Yeah, I'm just trying, like with most animes and etc., is that they try, good animes, they try to keep it to realism, but then they push the boundaries a bit. You know, it's not totally realistic, but then again, it's not totally unimaginable. And that's the way I saw it. It's not like I'm saying that this is something that will definitely happen, but I'm saying that I can see the realism in it.
All right, so GA, before, because we're wrapping this up, I want to get you guys score and everything. To be honest with you, I think the only thing we should really rate is the story. But lastly, I think the thing that we should talk about is the alternate endings. Now, in the anime, there is no alternate endings, but we've seen the game, and in the game, there's about 60 alternate endings, right? But there's 3 main ones that are very, very popular on YouTube. Nuance hasn't seen them as of yet, but I would say...
Well, it's not really spoiling them for her.
All right, it's not really...
She knows what's...
But one of them is a favourite, and it's the one where they're walking on the bridge, or they're walking on the overpass.
Yeah, I'll say out of the three, that would probably be my second best one. It was a bit too anime for me, but it was because he was killed by the one that everybody is expecting him to kill him. You know, she decides to go all samurai on them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you've seen the alternate endings, I would ironically, I would say that the ending in the anime is the ending I prefer. Anyway,
I think the ending in the anime is the right ending. You know,
Even though
he got to sail off into the sunset.
Yeah, even though I haven't seen the alternate ending, the thing that I liked about the ending is that it just solidified what I believed, that girl was a bitch.
Yeah.
She was a flipping sadistic.
Yeah, the main
she was a bitch.
girl. Sorry, what was her name?
Senkai. Yeah.
Senkai. Is that the main bitch?
Yeah, she was a bitch because you find that obviously she weren't.
Apparently she was. Actually, I did some research and she was pregnant. She was pregnant, yeah.
Oh, she was pregnant.
Well, going based on the anime alone, she wasn't pregnant. I'm adamant that she wasn't pregnant.
Does it make a difference?
Because she was a total bitch.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
They portrayed it to the very end that it was her fault. She was a bitch because even right at the end they did the whole scene of that little short thing that disappeared.
Her best friend.
What's her name?
I don't remember her name. Don't worry about her name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, her best friend was the one that was into him, and instead of letting her sit next to him, which what she wanted, she intentionally told her, "Oh, let me sit next to him, and I'll find that information for you." So she did the same line to her best friend.
You said that before. I didn't pick it up.
I didn't really whatever that either. I'll have to definitely see that. Yeah.
That was my main point. When I saw that, I was like, I can understand why you guys probably didn't see that. At that time, your eyes was probably rolled so far in the back of your head.
Well, you know what? They didn't emphasize on that
anymore. But yeah, they didn't emphasize on it. But when I saw it,
does matter. Sorry to cut you, but if it really, really does matter if she was pregnant or not. Because if she was pregnant, that means that she was crazy, and she just felt like she had enough. Do you know what I mean? Of the whole situation, and now she's pregnant. And remember, he did all that kissing scene with the other woman right in front of her, and she's lost her mind, all the hormones, she's lost her mind, yeah? If she's not pregnant and she did that just shows that she's a bunny boiler because of the fact that she planned the whole thing, and then she went to school, ruined his school life, blah, 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 and then killed him because she knew at the end she couldn't have him.
Well, let me say this, because I just want to ask you guys a question. So, what are you saying? You feel like they tried to give her a pregnancy because they wanted you to give her a little bit of make you feel sorry for her a little bit?
I think so.
No, I don't believe that. The reason why I don't really believe that is because the thing that I kind of didn't like was right at the end of the anime, they tried to make it out like it was all her fault, and if she didn't get involved. He would have been an okay, nice guy. Do you know what I mean?
I think that is a really, really good question that we all have to ask ourselves. Do you honestly believe if this Senkai girl never got involved, everything would have been rosy.
He would have
And
always
this
been a
would
slime ball, but he would have never been as big of a slime ball as he was. You know,
I
she
think he would have been a
escalated
closet.
it.
Yeah, I think it would have been a closet slime ball. He probably would.
So she made him the monster he became in
I
the
know
end.
that.
Yeah, she groomed him. You know, she gave him the tools.
She did give him the tools. He had a lot of practice.
You know, she gave him the practice that he needed.
You know, and then she made him know that no wasn't really. And then the thing that pissed me off is that she made him realize that no meant yes in his world, because every time they got to banging, she's like, no, right there, no, not there.
That's
there,
what bothered me. That is what really disturbed me in the anime. That really bothered me. It's just practice. It's just practice. Oh, it's just practice.
Such a stupid bitch. I'm sorry.
She really was.
I'm sorry to say.
And she was very degrading, and that's why I find that women will find it degrading.
Yeah, there are degrading women out there. You know, not everybody is an upstanding citizen like she was and like he was. You know, I think men that watch it, because I think men that watch it will feel the same way. They think to themselves that this guy is an arsehole, and it's not a good portrayal of men. That, if they're put in this situation, this is how they're gonna act.
Well, no, I disagree. You know why? Because they did have one other male character. He was I guess he was more of a normal anime character. You know, he fancied this other girl, and he was a happy-go-lucky guy. He did eventually end up sleeping with the main.
Yeah, and did you see the way that happened?
Yeah, on a wit, yeah, he kind of pounced at a chance.
Pounced, and then he was so flipping crazy, gone past the point of no friggin' return. He didn't even realise the girl was in a daze and didn't really realise what she was doing. She was just letting it happen.
Yeah, well, you know what? In that one, I won't even say that's because, he is a bad person. I think, one, he was ultra horny.
Yeah, he was hungry.
Very, very horny. And I'm not excusing the guy, but I don't think if you're trying to put him on the level like Makoto, no,
I'm not putting him on a level, but there are no good guys in that anime. They did that was not the point of the anime. The anime was not to try to make men look good. If that's what you think, then you better think again.
I never said that.
Do you know what I mean?
I never even said that. I don't think anyone comes out of this anime looking good. Oh, there is one character. One character came looking good. You know the girl that loved Makoto from Long, and then she came back to visit? You know when he was going through his phone, like he said, just one girl. And then that girl knocks on his door. I'm so glad you're here, man. Things were getting so boring. Come in. Did you really get that girl pregnant? Huh? What are you talking about? Just come in. Let's just have some fun. Oh, Makoto, you're not the guy I thought you was. I've got enough pride in that. Goodbye.
Wow. You know what? Even then, I thought, are you serious? Anytime.
She was a bitch and a bully.
Yeah, and she slept with Makoto just to get back at her, mainly to get back at her. Because they had a big argument. You remember that? Yeah. She was like, he's not going out of you. He's not going out of you. He's my boyfriend. And then she was like, yeah, okay. Then she went and fucked him. So anyway, people, you know what, man? We've been talking about this anime for nearly an hour. And, I've got to ask you a question, We've already given our final verdicts before we started getting into this. But, the question is, if this anime can invoke this much conversation, is it really that bad? Or is it really not worth watching?
Like I said, I think it definitely is worth watching. I would give it to anybody.
Anybody? You would give it to anybody?
Well, if they had an interest in anime, if they liked anime, I would give it to them. Because if it wasn't an anime, like I said before, if it was One Tree Hill that this happened in, everybody would love it. I don't
know where all these One Tree Hill kind of whatever. Who the hell what is that?
They're the pretty boys, the pretty basketball players, and whatnot. If this happened in that, everybody would be like, yeah, this is totally believable.
I mean, you're scaring me with every One Tree Hill. Who watches that?
All right, and you answer. You answer now. Do you feel that after the conversation that this brings up, do you really still think you're not feeling this is not worth a watch at all?
I feel that
recommend this to anyone.
I feel that if I had a girlfriend who went through a really hard breakup and she really needed to realize that it could be worse. Yeah, could be worse. I'd probably sit her down and say, "Here you go." And then at the end, she'll probably wipe her teeth and think, "Yeah, I feel better. I can go on." Yeah, but apart from that, personally for me, all jokes aside, I'm just not. It evokes an emotion that I don't feel is necessary. That's what I'm saying. I don't. At the end of the day, I didn't really get anything out of it that made me feel any different towards any male or females. The only thing that I felt is anger and frustration, and then I felt glad that someone got shanked a lot.
Don't you think it's laughable that some people compared this to Kimi, Ian, the Eternity Wish for Rumbling Hearts?
It's more than laughable for anybody to compare the two.
Yeah, I totally agree that you can't compare the two.
Compare it. I don't want anyone that, if you're putting it up against other drama anime, like you just finished watching Clannad as well,
The only comparisons in the two is that they're both freaking drama animes. Apart from that, there's nothing really else.
And you know what? I want to say something else. I'm not even being funny. This whole storyline is your typical hentai storyline, just without the hentai. And considering it just was taken from a hentai game, they're getting a lot of praise from a lot of people for this anime. And I'm just like, this is just a hentai without the hentai, essentially. So should you really be getting that praise?
I think the only reason why they're getting praise for it is because it sparks conversation. And any anime that can do that.
And they were the first people to do this with a hentai. Yeah. They stripped out. Yeah, there is hentai that they made into anime, but they've kept the disgusting characters the same. But the only difference is usually with hentai, the main difference is the main character is a sadist. He doesn't give a fuck. He actually wants to cause pain, and he actually wants to fuck girls. Where this guy, he's absent-minded and a coward. And that's what makes you so irritated. If he wasn't absent-minded and he was evil and he actually yeah, man, I fucked her, now I'm gonna fuck her, this anime would have been a laugh. I would have been laughing.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Even for me personally, if he was a G, do you know what I mean? If he was a guy that had stupid little quirks and you just think, I can't believe this girl fell for this line. This is so dumb, but she deserves... I don't care. You know what I mean? Now she's getting banged, whatever.
Yeah, I know what you want to see, GA. Yeah. You want to see that Evangelion smile on it.
Yeah, the classics, man.
The hand over
the eyes, the blacked out faces, people laughing. Classics, man. They could have made it amusing, but they chose to go down a different route. I think if they made it, would it have had the same effects, or would it have just been another anime that you watched and you said that was good?
I can't even lie, man. If they just made this funny, I would have been laughing all the way through, man. If this guy just I'm the man.
Yeah, well, I can't lie. If it was like that, everybody would be.
But then I think Nuance would have killed me for giving it to her.
But it wouldn't have had the same effects.
But at the end of the day, if it was good, I'll watch anything regardless. If it is funny, I can see the humor in it. Do you know what I mean? But, if something is only... No, truly, I try to be, as level-headed as possible. I can see the humor in stuff. Obviously, I don't watch hentai as much as some people do, but whatever. But like I said, for me, going back to what I already said, if an anime only invokes anger, frustration, and then delight at someone getting shanked into pieces and going away on a beautiful yacht in the sunset, clasping a head. Do you know what I mean? Well, I probably would have used it for a football. Do you know what I mean? Kicked it. But she would. I can't say that it's a good look for me. It's not something I'd ever watch again, and I'm never gonna feel it. And I'm never gonna.
I can agree with that. It's not something I could watch again without a doubt.
So no recommendations from neither of you guys. That's a shame.
Recommendations, like I said, I would say that it's something that I would say that somebody should watch. It's something you should see.
Who are you gonna tell to watch though? Who?
Well, I can't. Nobody comes. I can say that. Nobody comes to mind, innit? If somebody wanted a drama anime and they asked me what they could watch, it would be one of them. It wouldn't be the top one, but it would be one of them.
Folks, if you're on your anime journey and you come across School Days, you see it on the floor, do you pick it up or do you walk on by?
Walk on by.
Man,
Hallelujah.
you don't walk on by. You pick it up, you watch it, then you think to yourself, I'm going to break this. Nah, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it to this guy.